This is a short tutorial on how to use the Universal Scoresheets percentage and rating data tracking system. I'm going to start you off here on the instructions page, and you can see here that this is just some general information. As you go down, I give you a detailed rubric of the way that you can score. It's a scoring system from 1 to 6, 6 being a perfect, correct, quick response, and 1 being no response or a completely unintelligible response, and then in between there's various gradations. And I'll explain in a little while why I do that rather than just plus and minus. Drop down stands for, is signified by DD, so I'll show you in a minute what that means and why that might be important to you. Here in the green tells you a couple different options for the way you can organize it, and a quick start guide. So let me give you a sample here. So say I'm working with John Smith, and I recommend using some kind of identifier, not the actual name because this is in the cloud. And you're going to put your date. So you just click it twice and a date picker comes up. And I've already put some scores in for him. So on April 4th, he did a confrontation naming task. And I scored him on that 1 to 6 scale. We only did 13 naming tasks that time. So it doesn't matter. You can do up to 20. And then if you want to do 20 more, you just start another line with that same task. You can do as many as you want. Or you can start another task. So you can see here that his average from 1 to 6 was 2.85. It was a 31% accuracy rate. So then we did it on the 6th with him, the same exact task, and you can see that he only got 25% right, but the quality of his responses was going up because he got a 3.06 on that 6-point scale. So let's say that you do this again today it's been a couple months, and we'll say confrontation naming. So let's say he does 6 and 6 and 6 and 6, and then a 5, and then a 3, and then a 2, and then a 6. I'm just going to give some scores in here. Okay, so you did 15 of them, and you can see here that it was 73% accurate. So he got 73% correct, more or less. Well, not more or less, 73%, but the quality of his scores was 4.47. So compared to last time, the quality has come up from a 3.06 from a 4.4 to a 4.47. And of course, his percentage has come up from 25% to 73%. And so you can just keep a running tab of all the tasks that you're doing. I had another task here, and it doesn't matter if you do 20, if you do 8, it'll still give you a percentage. You don't have to calculate any of that. So what you'll do is, this is the master list. This is a blank that has nothing on it. So you will make a new master for John Smith, put his name up here, and start collecting data. Now, if you choose and you like to do a drop down, if you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a drop down, I gave you a master list that's a drop down. I think it's a little busy with all those triangles in there, so I don't use it, but you certainly can if you'd rather do it that way and you're using a mouse and you'd like to click through. So your next option here, this is just one that I've started for you. I've made a copy. You can do one of two things, which I explain on the instructions. You can make a whole file of these for only John Smith, so that this task is going to be confrontation naming, and then you make yourself, excuse me, that was wrong. You make yourself another sheet by copying the master, just like this. Duplicate. And then you're going to rename that. So let's say this one is going to be all confrontation naming. Okay. And this one is going to be all let's see, how about word repetition? Okay, so this is all John Smith. This whole database belongs to John Smith, and you've got all these different tabs down here that you can make as many as you want just by copying the master. One is confrontation naming, so you go to that tab and keep track of that there. One is word rep, you keep that tab and you go to keep track of word repetition there. The other way you can do it, which is the way I've been doing it, is that this is your whole sheet for all your caseload. So instead of confrontation naming, this is going to be named John. This one's going to be named Julie. And then when I'm working with John, I'm going to write something like I did here. Confrontation naming, finish common phrases, something else. And then I'm going to go to Julie. She's a little one, so I'm going to put R in isolation. And I'm going to put S in words. Okay, so then that way I'm keeping track of all their goals on one sheet. Everything related to Julie is on that one sheet. So it really is up to you the way you want to organize it, but what I do is I actually have a bunch of tabs here with each client according to settings. So I have one database, which I rename up here by the name of the school or the hospital or the SNF, whatever it is that I'm at. And then that caseload has a bunch of tabs down here for each name of the persons that I'm seeing at that particular facility. So that's how that works. And then the cool thing about it is that you can take this data on your iPad. You can set it to go offline so that if you're not in Wi-Fi, you can still take the data, and the next time you go to Wi-Fi, it'll upload to the cloud. You can also take it on your computer if they're working on your iPad and you want to keep track on your computer, or vice versa. So I hope that helps you and that this is really helpful to you, because it's been a great help to me to be able to keep a running track of things so that I can say how well they're doing over time. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy the Universal Scoresheets Tracker.